Why is our internet always like ourselves at that time? Just unstable. Can it just be stable for a couple minutes?
I don't know, man.
I think we're working right now, though, right? We're good now.
Yeah, I don't know if we're live though on anywhere anymore.
If we're not, we're not. Then we put it
Eh,
out later. Sorry
looks
to
like
the
we're.
livers. We'll see what we can do.
We lost all our viewers though. We had four.
That's all right. But are we still live or no?
Now it would appear we are live.
All right, then they'll come back. If they left for 2 seconds, then they're deadbeat dads. Like, who leaves for 2 seconds? You know what I mean? You wait to see. Where are your kids?
That's true.
You don't just leave your kids after their kids drowned in a pool, dude. You can't just, they're underwater. Fuck it. I'm out. They're going to pop back up, dude. You know what I mean? Look for bubbles, bro. Give it a minute. Not a minute. I think a minute they're dead, right? A kid's underwater for a minute. That's either Michael Phelps or your kid's dead.
Dude, you know what's crazy? So I was checking to see if the stream was live on like Facebook and stuff. It's got a live caption of what you just said. Dude, you know what's crazy? So I was checking to see if the live stream was like on Facebook and stuff. It's got a live. This is what it's saying right now. It has a transcript.
Oh,
of
I
us.
thought you were skipping. Like, what is going on?
No, dude. It has a transcript of what we're. This isn't good. At this
Why
point,
not?
I think we need to take all of our viewers and have them shoot their computers. AI's gone too far.
Well, I didn't say anything wrong.
No, you didn't. But why does it know? I don't like that it knows what I'm saying.
It's listening.
Do you know how long it would take me to type out captions like this?
Yeah, computers are smarter than you, dude.
I don't like that.
I hope that if computers were as smart as us, why would we have them?
Why do we have wives and girlfriends?
Well, I think because of love and affection.
Oh, I thought it was just a machine you could order around to do stuff you didn't feel like.
Oh no,
Here, quick, do this math I don't feel like doing.
Bobby, it's writing all the things we're saying. Women are the best. Go, ladies. Martha Stewart's on the front of a sexy magazine.
Dude, I don't know if I can do this. This is so trippy. It's saying.
Well, stop reading it.
I'm reading you yelling at me now.
Yeah, Bobby's gay in a good way. How's that? Is that good?
Hang on, I want to see if it picks that up. Nope, it edited it out.
What does it do for my laugh? Does it just go dumb, dumb, dumb? Seth Rogen is a mental patient.
Seth Rogen, hi.
There you go. Hello, Seth Rogen. But so anyway, back to the quickly to the bit thing. So when it's over, and then the show's over shortly after, my ex-wife drives my daughter to work in the mornings, and they listen to, like, when I'm on the air, they listen to like a half hour of it, like that last hour. And she messaged me and said, "Hey, that meow thing you guys were doing is hilarious," which I'm like, this is probably why we're not together. You find this funny. But she goes, "I wanted to call in and do it, but I figured I wasn't eligible to win prizes." And I stared at my phone, read to myself, and I went, "Ugh." And Chaz noticed that, and I was off the air. He just goes, "What's wrong?" And I go, I read it to him. He goes, "Why the fuck couldn't your ex-wife win prizes?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, she thinks the fix is on. I don't know. Like, she goes, "Yeah, she could win in the running for." It'd be hilarious if your ex-wife called it meow. I go, "You know what? Hate it. My daughter in the car next to her, and she's meowing. Meow meow, Iron Man." So it was a fun morning.
That sounds like a great start to your week.
It wasn't bad. I usually do Mondays and Wednesdays. This week they're mixing it up, and they went Tuesday and Thursdays.
Now, I'm a guy who likes routines. When I get into doing something, it makes life easy. Does that screw you up when your routine changes, or do you like choosing the life of comedy? I would imagine you like kind of variety, but as weird as it is to say, I like regularity.
Sorry, real quickly. My dad, who never messaged me, just said, "Hey, my stepmom just read a post you wrote. Are you okay?" It's like, if you don't know me enough to know that I write premises for bits.
Also, I'm glad that warranted a text, Dad, not a phone call.
Oh, it never would. And he puts her in the text too to make sure. But I don't know if you saw my Facebook post today, but I thought it was a funny premise for a thing. I said, there's times where I don't think anything's going to work out. So I give myself little pep talks. And I know that one day I won't have to do this anymore. Not because I think I'm ever going to amount to anything, because I don't think that when you're dead, you can give yourself pep talks.
That's a great post.
I said, so I've got that going for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not putting suicide notes on my fucking.
I mean, maybe you gave yourself a hell of a pep talk, if you know what I'm saying. That one I try to give myself every morning.
If
Just
someone
pull.
wrote underneath, yeah, you can. All right, now I got to prove it.
Just pull the trigger, Bobby. You can do it.
I'm writing it's the prep, so you can read underneath, Dad.
Yeah, if you're watching live, you would know what's up.
First time
Dad.
he watched live, he's like, you wouldn't know who I was because I saw him on Sunday, but I shaved on Monday. I did that because I was going to see my nieces, and kids get scared when an adult shaves their beard off. And I didn't want to do that to people.
And figure you give them what, 6 months till you see him again? How long does it take you to grow a beard?
No. I'll see him. I see him almost every other weekend for our family breakfast. I can probably get the stubble back in a week. I used to be able to do that, but it's been so long. Maybe it's not going to come back.
Who knows?
What if it doesn't come back?
You could be Mike Myers stunt double. Turtle.
Was that Mike? I was going to say that too. Was that Mike Myers or was that Dana Carvey?
I'm pretty sure that was Mike Myers.
I thought Dana Carvey was Turtle. Yeah, I think that's Dana Carvey.
That might have been Dana Carvey. Good point. You could be Dana.
He had that movie where he was doing
boy.
all the goofy shit.
Greg Bullett's gonna fight you.
Why?
He's the Dana Carvey lookalike around here.
Well, I'm not around there.
I was just making a joke.
And Joe, he's more of a Joe List lookalike to me.
So literally, Greg and I met the first time. Earl was asking for other local comics who he thought would work with him. Greg had this hilarious iPhone bit. He doesn't do it enough if you ask me. But I asked him and he was like, oh, yeah, I would love to. And I asked Earl and Earl was like, yeah, he works the Comedy Zone. He's a regular there. He wouldn't do it. And I was like, well, I just asked him. And I told Greg that and he was like, oh, yeah, I only get worked at the Comedy Zone because I look like a comedian. And I was like, oh, is it Joe List? And he was like, no, it's Dana Carvey. But thanks, List is actually a compliment. So you and I are in the same camp.
They're both pretty famous.
Oh, yeah. And this was before List, was as big as he is now, starring in movies and whatnot.
I'm sorry. Wouldn't post my feelings on Facebook, Dad. Just a premise for a joke. They're going to tell me it's not funny.
I'm a little nervous because my boy's trending on Twitter.
What boy?
6ix9ine.
Why, did he kill himself in jail?
No.
Why did he be trending then?
Boy. I'm not going to speculate on the homie like that.
Well, no, just keep us up to date. I don't really...
Oh, okay. So, do you know there's this conspiracy thing?
That's a rapper. It's not like a porn star.
Well, funny you should say that.
Well, because you're like my homeboy 6ix9ine. That's 69. 69.
No, 6ix9ine.
I know that guy, but I wasn't sure it was a different guy.
Yeah, no, it's him. I'm a big fan of his. I don't know if
you said homeboy, so therefore, because sometimes you're on Kumia or a compound, porn stars come on. I thought maybe you knew a porn star named 6ix9ine.
No.
Or
I appreciate
a midget
clarifying.
who calls himself 6ix9ine because it's like a joke.
That would be pretty funny actually if he did that. I feel like, but no. So 6ix9ine is a rapper, as you know, and I'm a big fan of his. A lot of people don't like him, and the reason why I support him is this. Everybody gave him a hard time because he wasn't really in a gang, and then he snitched. But neither was the inventors of gangster rap, the people who brought it mainstream. Have we talked about this, you and I? Or
a little bit.
Okay. But like basically, Eazy-E did some crime, but he wasn't like a real banger. He wasn't established yet. Ice Cube certainly wasn't. He just wrote about the life he saw. So 6ix9ine in that mindset actually took it a step further and reimbursed or compensated the gangs of which he was appropriating the culture. And then those gangs violated the terms of their contract and threatened to kill him and his family, and he snitched. I get it. Snitching's never right. I personally wouldn't snitch, but he played by the rules. I don't get why we go he's soft, but Ice Cube's allowed to both be the hardest gangster rapper alive and in Are We There Yet? But it is being alleged online that there is a porno that is going to come out featuring him and another male.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I don't want to speak on his relationship. I don't know him in those terms, and I would hope that we can hang out one day, so I don't want to, if he isn't and would feel that was slandering, or if he is and isn't ready to share that with the world yet. I had a very good friend in college who was forced out of the closet by blackmail, and I honestly think...
By a black male?
No, well, no. It was crazy. I'll share this story quick. You can So basically, it was like the fraternity hell week. He was the president of our fraternity. His girlfriend was studying abroad that semester, who he had lived with since he went to college. Like, they had dated the entire 4 years there. And basically, he sent an email out early one morning and was like, hey, I need to tell you guys this. I've been living a lie. I'm gay, yada, yada, yada. And everybody responded like, that's why you don't leave your email open. Don't do that. And then somebody, like, one guy got really upset and was like, no, that's real. And then we all had, like, a meeting where we were all hanging out and talking about it. And he walked in on it. And everybody just stopped and stared. And you know me, Pat. What did the comedian in me say?
Wow.
I just looked him in his eyes and said, what's up, faggot? And then everybody laughed. There was a good laugh.
That?
Yeah, there was a laugh. We high-fived, like him and I.
No, in the text thing. Did you just write what you said?
Oh, good question. Nope, skipped over it.
Wonder what it wrote for that.
It just doesn't write it. Like,
it says noodles or something.
No, it literally just skips over to the next couple of words. Like, yeah, you don't need that.
I was like, what's up, noodles?
But everybody laughed. You know what I mean? It cut the tension, so. But I really think it affected him for probably still to this day. Like, being forced out that way and having.
Like, you think so? Or you think that, like, do you think, if you talked to him and you got vibes that it has, or do you think maybe he's able to get over that because if he can deal with something like that, he can basically deal with anything?
So I think it's both of the things you actually just said. So in some aspects of his life,
when you put yourself in that place, you're not, like, if I did it, I would never understand that world. So it stresses me out just to think about it. But if that was my world, I might be able to handle it better.
Absolutely. You know? And he was graduating with a biochemistry degree in molecular biology, and his only goal was to find a profession and just get into it. Didn't think he could handle getting a master's or anything like that. And afterwards, he ended up getting a PhD. So I think it definitely, in some areas of his life, he was like,
player haters degree?
Yeah, he hates the players who blackmail other players out of the closet. But so I think in some areas it did, but I think specifically in his love life, it probably traumatized him and set up trust issues. And we grew apart. Like, after he was older, I only knew him for a year or so, but we were pretty close in those years.
How much older?
He had repeated a year, so probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So, like, he was out as I was coming in, but in that year we became very good friends.
Not you did there.
Intentional.
I know you didn't mean any of that, but that was great. He was out when I was coming in. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You just wrote the first gay Harry Chapin song.
He was out when I was coming in.
Coming in.
Should have known by how much he likes swimming and wearing tank tops.
Oh, I thought it would have rhymed with, like, he was out when I was coming in. I could see it in his eyes because I left some on his chin.
Oh. Now, some say it's wrong. Some say it's a sin. Yeah, that's all I got.
But you can sleep with your roommates. Just don't sleep with your kin. There you go. We did it. There's our song.
I tried to do this on the dump, but it didn't work out due to frustrations. But I learned about some practices this weekend. Are you familiar with either King Arthuring or Cinderellaing? King Arthuring would be the male move. Cinderellaing would be the female.
I know the stories.
No, it's a form of gaslighting that's becoming a common trend.
So the gaslighting would be that you're making someone feel like they're crap when they really can be a princess, or therefore they could be a king, but they're really they make them feel like a shithead, but they really could be a king, or the other way around.
Close, actually. So, are you familiar with the King Arthur story? A lot of people know about the Round Table.
Dumb boy grabbed the sword out of the rock.
That's the key. You nailed it. So the story with the sword and the stone was there's a sword in the stone. Whoever pulled it out was destined to be king, right? So you do the same thing with a chick. You start the night, you're flirting, things are getting hot and heavy. You warn her early on in the night. You go, hey, just so you know, I have really bad erectile dysfunction. Like, there's a good chance, even if we try things, very rarely does it work. I'm on these, antidepressants.
How early in the first date do we say this?
Oh, this isn't a date move. This is a, like, one night stand pick up at a bar.
Hey, babe, what's going on? By the way, my penis don't work.
You kind of start
joking. What we're doing?
You kind of start joking about it, but then you get more serious as the night goes on. And then as you go to take her home, you're like, hey, just so you know.
Hey, is that jukebox working? No one else isn't working?
Exactly, dude. The more you can bring it up, the better. You want this on her mind.
What? Why?
Because then when you get her back to her place, and you get hard, A, she's not going to be threatened. B, when you get hard, she is going to think she's the chosen one.
Oh, I don't
She's
think so.
the magical dick whisperer that got your penis hard. And then you ghost her and it ruins her self-esteem. And the same move, Cinderella-ing, is the same thing with females.
Real quick, can we stay on that one for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because that does sound like a thing. I don't mean this way. That does sound like a thing a young guy would think of because he's never actually talked to a woman. So he thinks they're dumb enough to fool for like Jedi mind tricks. But in reality, most women, when a guy talks about their dick, good, bad, or indifferent, first thing they think is he's trying to make me see his dick. That's all that is. Because that's usually what it is. So they're not going to sit there and go, first of all, they're going to think it's really weird, even though when I say anything, he won't stop, even with little jokes, whatever. But it's already kind of like, what the fuck? But they have a drink, they're horny, and they're like, screw it, whatever, I'm lonely, let's go hook up, whatever. She's like, her first thought in her head is, this guy's definitely going to get a boner. You know what I mean? This guy won't stop talking about his dick. He's trying to do this. It's probably just not that big. That's probably what he's doing here. So whatever. She's not going to go sleep with him and feel like she's greater. She understands that pussy is great and dicks are just okay.
Right.
So it's more the guy's thing of saying that afterwards.
Absolutely. But you've only kind of gotten half the process down, because the other half is you also then have to treat it like the girl, stereotypically, where you're going, hey, I don't want to go back to your place. No, look, honestly, I would. You're beautiful. I'd love to, but like nothing. It's just going to be an embarrassment. Like, you try to play it off like you don't want this, and you make her seduce you.
It's only games.
And then
games.
Cinderella-ing is a way. It's kind of the opposite.
Feet? You gotta use feet?
Nope, no feet. I know you're not a feet guy. I am. You're not.
Cinderella's all about feet.
No, Cinderella-ing is about
Cinderella's the first
one
OnlyFans.
shoe.
That guy knew her feet game so good.
It is weird he knew her feet game better than her face game. That is kind of...
He could not recognize her at all. He saw them hooves. He's like, yeah.
They could have just made him blind in the story and solved that plot hole
so
instantly,
easy.
But they're like, nah, homie like feet.
Or she could have wore a mask. Yeah. Back then, they would all do like the little,
like a masquerade. Yep, that's
like the eyes wide shut type shit.
I thought you meant the Jim Carrey mask. It's the claw.
Alrighty, no, that's the wrong movie, but whatever. He said in that one.
Thing.
I'm green, bitch. What did he say in that movie?
I'm Jim Carrey, and I'm overacting in this scene.
I'm
going to be a method actor later in life that everybody hates because I probably killed my wife.
I did a show one time. Sorry to sidetrack quick, but I did a show when I first started, and there was a woman that was not attractive and being very loud in the audience. And I was like, I loved you in the movie Mask. And she goes, well, I don't look green. And I'm like, nope, that's the mask. And then she Googled it and she goes, fuck you.
It's even worse.
No, that would be I wish you looked like Jim Carrey.
Oh,
you look like Rocky Dennis, bitch.
Jesus.
Anyway, back to the Cinderella.
Remind me to get back to a story of somebody you did something with. But, so Cinderella-ing is the girl tells you, like, hey, I'm on these antidepressants, I can't orgasm, and then she does, and you think you have the magic dick.
Dude, but that's not about me.
Depends on the type of guy. You and I, maybe not, but, like, smaller, simpler...
No, I don't mean that. It's... An orgasm isn't just based on penis size and the guy doing stuff. So it's a lot of it has to do with the woman and just what the mood she is in. If she's on certain medications, what's going on at the time. It's the things that you do, the thing that the more communication is when you're gonna have an orgasm, because she'll let you know, hey, I don't like it when you jackhammer me. I know you think that's fun from the movies you watch, but slow down, Tiger. Make me feel like I'm not a hole.
I agree, but again, I think it's more of like, oh man, I was really able to relax around you, like open up. It's really just a way of.
I guess, but I thought gaslighting was like a bad thing, so I guess I'm confused at the gaslighting part of this.
Your dick works the whole time. She comes all the time.
No, but you're not.
To somebody's face.
But you're just lying. I thought gaslighting was kind of like negging and being weird to that person. You're not making them feel bad. You're still having sex with them and making them. They're still getting something out of it. You're not stealing their wallet. You're not duping them into sex. It'd be one thing. They're not being tricked. They're still wanted to have sex with you. It just worked out better than you were pitching. You were pitching a lemon and gave him a Lexus. You know what I mean? That's all it was.
That is a good point. I see. I
You
do
know what I
see.
mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't really like this horrible thing that you're doing to them. It was still a mutual thing. You didn't say like, it's not like the old blue ball scenario where some guy, a creep guy, would just be like, "Oh man, you make me so hard. You know what you're doing to me, girl. You make me so hard." She's like, "I'm just standing here." It's like, "Oh, girl," and he's just like, "Oh man," and he's like, they kiss,
Okay.
whatever. And he's like, "Oh,
Well, I'm gonna need
I hate
you
to
to
say it, but
stop.
I got blue balls, and if you don't do something to my penis, I could die." And she's like, "Well, I don't want you to die." Then she looks it up, and you can't die, and it's not even real.
That first part of it described every conversation I have with my girlfriend when I'm trying to sext. So suck my dick, Pat. You just don't know
What
what
doing
you're
to me right
doing.
now?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm in Ohio.
I'm doing dishes.
Dude, you send me another one of those pictures you took 4 years ago for somebody else. That's the gaslight, bro. The ultimate gaslight is when a guy's like, "Yo, girl, send me a titty pic," and she's like, has 12 ready to go, and then a guy sits there and thinks she's doing a photo shoot, but she's literally got curlers in her hair and she's watching Housewives. She don't give a fuck. That's some old pic she did a photo shoot, but a dude is like, "You want a fresh dick?" Bang. It's like,
I need to evaluate lots of facets of my life, it turns out.
why, you didn't think she was doing a photo shoot, did you?
Anyway, you got a POS story, buddy?
Oh, that's fun. Kind of. I think I'll allude to it for a second.
Ooh.
I think it's more of a discussion thing. We can say who the piece of shit is, but I think it's more of a discussion thing.
We do have one person in the chat, so maybe if it's a discussion, they want to chime in. All they've said.
They can, but we don't have to force it upon them.
Yeah.
They can just write things and we can read it. How about that? Last time we were sitting and waiting on them.
Yeah, I was just kind of throwing it out there.
Is it, what's his name again? Keller? But it's probably just someone who doesn't like us.
It's Gooch BKBK. They said diehard fan from out of the Shy. That's pretty cool. Chirac, baby.
Chirac. Chicago?
Yeah, I believe so.
I didn't know what Chirac meant. I thought it was like Iraq people, but like, they're already covering the
it has to do with the crime rate in Chicago.
Okay. Do you know who's actually today on the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition?
Sure do. It's Martha Stewart.
Do you know how old Martha Stewart is?
82.
Did that surprise you?
That she's 82?
I don't know why I thought
or that
she was
she's on Sports Illustrated. Which part?
That she was 81 and not 68.
That did. I figured 75.
I did not realize she was that old.
I thought she was mid-70s.
Because I've known of her, I'd say for the last 25 years, probably. If I look back in my head, like, I think I've known of Martha Stewart's existence longer than I've had a child. My child's 21. My daughter's 21. So about that same time, which means that she was 61 when I first knew who she was. And that's when she was like first famous. That's kind of wild to me. I thought she was like in her 40s then. You know, when she built this empire and did all these things.
Well, she did some time, right?
She did do a little bit of time, and the amount of money it was over is ridiculous. It was like $250,000. You think about the empire that she had built, what she did, that was just somebody fuck with her because she didn't do. It's kind of bullshit what you win for when you think of all the other things people have done. But regardless, she's on the cover, if people don't know, on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, which, by the way, I think is ridiculous that they even still have that. No one's buying magazines at the volume they used to. We're basically doing it for pictures online now. So you don't have to call it a magazine. It's really just a photo shoot. I know they have a magazine and articles, all that. But the last 3 years, Sports Illustrated has had someone different than a swimsuit model on the front. 3 years ago, it was a plus size model. Or 2 years ago. Last year, it was a transgender woman. This year, it's an 81-year-old woman. I understand, I guess, that they're trying to be like Miller Lite's trying to be now and Bud Light's trying to be. Men's things are trying to be sensitive to all women. But they're doing such a caveman job of it to think that people want to say to you, isn't it wonderful what we're doing? We took an 81-year-old woman and we let you know that she's not gross. Look at she's not gross. She's not gross. Look, that's what you're saying. You're not saying she's hot. You're saying, look what we did. It wasn't like it's not like every year they're celebrating 80-year-old women. You're just saying, aren't you shocked she's not dead? Isn't that crazy that she could be in a bikini? Isn't that nuts? Yes, she's built an empire from nothing, and she became an icon to the point where a thug gangster who became a rapper and also built an icon, the two of them became friends because they understand trading knowledge like two people in prison would could benefit them better on in life and make them share each other's demographics. Old white people in Greenwich, Connecticut know who Snoop Dogg is and think he's cool because of Martha Stewart. And hood dudes in Compton think when someone has a cool kitchen or a great setup on their kitchen table, that's some Martha Stewart shit. They all, because of this thing. To say that all the things that she had done and then did it her own way and went to jail, didn't give a fuck and came back and still bald, all she deserves is to be in a bikini on a magazine. Fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's not celebrating a woman. It's literally saying the thing you're saying. We're not objectifying people. And then what you're also saying is women who give a shit about being beautiful and love working out and making their bodies incredible. What you're saying that they're not strong, independent women? They can't do that. What if they love doing that? Not every woman has to be a businesswoman and tells the men, I don't need you. People are people. To put them on the front of Sports Illustrated when no one needs a swimsuit issue anymore because we have porn. It doesn't matter. When I was a kid and you didn't have access to porn or the internet and Kathy Ireland was on the front, you're like, I'm going to learn how to masturbate now because this is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Elle McPherson, holy crap, this is in there. Even when Ronda Rousey was naked posing in that like athletes one, you're like, what the fuck? That's wild. And you know, 5 years later, you're just putting Ben Franklin, who makes good sheets in her bed, on the front of a thing? That's wild. So who's the piece of shit in that story? Is it Sports Illustrated for saying, look what we're doing? The last 3 years, we've put women, but you didn't just put women. You didn't put the best one. Maybe put someone who's a beautiful but also has a PhD to fit the roles. But no, we're giving you this. We're saying to you flat out, here's 3 things that you're not supposed to like, but you have to like them or you're bad. Is it Martha Stewart? Because I mean, hey, she's a business person. This is going to draw more people to her thing. She's 81. She wants to celebrate her body, what she did. That's awesome. But is this something she really needs to do? It almost weirdly, yes, she's been to jail and done things, but this is the first time I've looked at Martha Stewart and went, oh, that's a little fucking weird. Like that way. Or is it people that are offended by it? I'm not offended by it. I just think it's dumb that we're even talking about it, but it's a huge fucking thing. They made the announcements. Or is it the people that are celebrating it? Who cares? It's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Does anyone care about that? Who's a piece of shit?
So, it's not Martha Stewart. At 82, there are people around you making the decisions for you. For the most part.
She's not a model. She literally got contacted by agents. They probably contacted other old people. They probably wanted to make it Betty White if she lived another year.
Yeah, probably. And somebody had to convince her, right? Like, even if she wasn't cognizant enough mind, she would have done Playboy in the 60s. As somebody pointed out, there's no nudity in Playboy anymore. Like, there's no nudity in these magazines. So her handlers would kind of be at fault. But again, if you make it to 82, do whatever the fuck. Walk around naked for all I care. Just don't kill anybody. Like, you made it to 82. My grandfather used to drink, and he had a very bad drinking problem. And my aunt got it under control and got him healthy. But towards the end of his life, he'd be like, hey, Bobby, go get me another glass of wine. Because he knew at family gatherings, I'd be the one who'd let him drink as much as he wanted to. Right? And I would always get yelled at. My point was this. You make it to 82. Drink as much fucking wine as you want. Right? Like, you want to get naked or borderline naked in swimsuits? Great. It's not Sports Illustrated. There's no market for hot women in swimsuits anymore. There's porn. There's OnlyFans. You can go see girls you grew up with.
I disagree with that. There are people who don't just want to see everybody naked all the time. To be honest, with all the porn in the world that's been happening lately, and the access to everyone being naked, it's kind of nice to see someone just scantily clad.
But you could find that if you needed to on the internet easily.
Right,
enough.
but But if I go to a thing where there can be athletic, whatever, and also it's accepted. Like Playboy for a while before it went away was accepted because it wasn't gross, it was tasteful. So you don't look like a fucking psychopath when you have it. Like, you look crazier having a Victoria's Secrets catalog than you did a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
That's very true. And like Sports Illustrated does carry that name of like being Sports Illustrated. It's done for athletics. But
Right, and you can get a boner and read about Cal Ripken's hit streak.
nobody's reading it anymore. So they have to do these things that will get niche audiences. Let's be honest. The fat chick, fat women are buying the magazine.
Plus size model, Bobby.
The cow they put in a swimsuit.
And that's fat chic. It's
The
PHATCHIC.
The
fat chic.
The beached whale that they put on 3 years ago.
That's Beach Wale. She's from Jamaica.
But and then the Down syndrome model. That community is incredibly supportive. They're going to go out and buy that.
Was she on the
magazine.
Sports Illustrated?
She was the one after, yeah.
Wait, I read a thing that said transgender.
No, there was no transgenders on Sports Illustrated yet.
The article I read said, did they confuse
I think they confused,
a
yeah.
transgender person for someone down?
Well,
oh my God.
I've always said.
No.
One
no
is the
one
other,
says
but not
that.
the
So stop, don't, no.
Rectangles, squares,
No.
squares, not rectangles.
No.
All squares.
I swear to God, we read that article on the air today, and also I read it again, and they listed those three things.
Well,
maybe they were both on it.
Maybe, but the point
Because
being,
inside you do more than one model.
yeah. So I don't blame them. For me, the piece of shit is the public. Yet again, we got duped. Like, this is what they want us to all be like. Can you believe Martha Stewart did it? Not. Can you believe Martha Stewart's still alive?
No, I get that. I don't think anyone thought she was dead. I really think most people are shocked that the biggest shocking thing is not she's a bikini, is that she's 81.
Yeah, that bothered me too.
I had no idea she was that old.
Gooch in the chat said companies.
And I saw the. Was that? I'm sorry.
The Gooch in the chat said companies telling me what I'm supposed to like offends them, and like I get that, but that's also their job is to try to get you to like figure out what you like and then jump in the trend and get you to buy it.
It's really not though. It used to be about getting you to, check out our product, not to now try to change what your mind. It was about having different opinions. And it's not that anymore. It really shouldn't be that. It's kind of become that because we become so small and everyone's taking sides and has opinions. But forever it kind of was still, you could read, like I could be a Yankee fan, and when Roger Clemens on the Red Sox was on the cover, I still could read Sports Illustrated because I knew it wasn't just going to be about the Red Sox. There was other things I could see. It wasn't going to tell me I had to like the Red Sox because they were better that year. You know what I mean? So
the only time that wasn't true for the Sports Illustrated model was with the fat model because it took all the ink. Come on.
I think the piece of shit in this story is Martha Stewart, but not for the reasons that we all said there at all. She's not a piece of shit for being on the cover. She's not a piece of shit for wanting to show that she looks great for 81-year-old. By the way, she's looked 45 the whole time. Probably when she was 28 and when she's 81. She's always looked the same. Maybe grayer hair, but she's always had that kind of Miles Standish haircut, but worked it out well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
She's always done that same kind of thing. She's always looked like the mom from a sitcom that you didn't really watch. You know?
Yeah,
she had kind of that look.
Yeah.
Always. But the reason why she's the POS is because, like I said at the beginning of this, she is a driven business icon, right? When you think about who's the person that can design your whole house, tell you how to have etiquette, do all those things, the home inside decoration, clothing, it's Martha Stewart. You still make the joke. If someone goes to someone's house and goes, "What are you, Martha Stewart?" And when you're doing
Absolutely.
stuff like that, coined things, phrases, took over that whole world. Has lines of clothing, drapes, carpets, all those kind of things. I don't know if the carpet matches the drapes. I didn't see that part of the Sports Illustrated. But so she has all that going on. That being said, Martha Stewart, if you said to me, what have you read more recently? Not just to me, but to people in America, so like women, men, whatever. A Sports Illustrated magazine or a Martha Stewart article or magazine? I think more people would say I read something with Martha Stewart's living more times I have than sports in an office, things of that nature.
Good point.
So why is Martha Stewart need Sports Illustrated? They must have paid her so much because she could have literally gone in a bikini on the front of Living and said, still living at 81 and I look fantastic. She could have done a whole thing of herself and other power women, all different sizes in this thing. Sports Illustrated must have walked around on a dump truck of money because they're like, we need something new. We've done this, we've done that. We're doing old this year. Martha, what do you think? She's like, what do I need you guys for? I don't need any Sports Illustrated readers that are left for my demographic. It's not, you need me. You know what I mean? I'm the big free agent. You're the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't need the Pittsburgh Pirates. You need me to come here and we can flounder, but you need me to sell tickets, bro. People are going to buy Sports Illustrated because we're going to have controversy because people are going to, why is she on the front of it? So she could have done this herself. I'm happy she took the money, but imagine her and Snoop's in a G-string and she's in a thong and they're posing in the front with like gold teeth on in the front. Oh, I would have 12 copies of that magazine. She should have done this herself. She should have said to them, you know what? I'll let you guys say it's Sports Illustrated's take on living. You could be a little part of mine and own all that shit. She could have even done more business balling with this because she didn't need them.
What if she partnered with Nike for a new line of Depends? And that's why
Just
they did
do
Sports
it?
Illustrated. Just do
Dude,
it.
just
You
do
nailed
it is
You
the
nailed
thing.
the tag there. Yeah, just do
I'm sorry,
it.
did I ruin your joke?
No. Like I'm saying, that's the slogan. We're going to Nike right now. Stop streaming.
Or is it
Patent
just
pending.
poo
Patent
it?
pending. Just
Just
poop
poo
it.
it?
Just poo it is good too. You know what? Let's come in with a couple of different pitches. We'll see what really tickles them. I've never pitched anything other than an erection.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. The whole song.
Oh
I wish
God,
I'd be-
dude, we could just remake all their commercials with old athletes. Flutie Flakes for when the smell's too bad.
We could still get Spike Lee. It's Mars, was it Mars Blackman? He has the glasses on. He's like, yo.
Mean Joe Green throws the poo-filled underwear and it just splat. Mean Joe Green, how'd you keep all that poo in your underwear?
Well, I think that was a Coca-Cola commercial, not Nike, but still, I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, whatever.
We can get Jason Williams.
Which
It doesn't
one?
matter if you have regular chocolate or white chocolate in your pants. We've got you covered. Depends.
White chocolate, Jason Williams. I thought you meant I crashed my motorcycle as a #1 draft pick, Jay Williams.
By the way,
Me, ever since the
doing a
accident, I've been
tremendous
pooing my
job on
pants.
ESPN. Jay Williams is killing it on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Hey, America. I may seem too young for Depends, but ever since my accident, I've been relying on Nike's Just Poo-Its.
Yikes. Yikes would be the name for it. By the way, do you have any intent to ever watch that movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck about the story of the shoe?
No. And Bill Schultz has seen it, loves it, and recommends it highly every day. And I
you know
still
what?
have
Maybe
no
I'll watch
desire.
It's on Amazon. They're not Amazon, who charges everyone for everything. Like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, you have to pay or buy or rent. This movie, the Nike shoe movie, free.
Interesting.
So that I was like, what? There's no one watching it, and I'm like, I kept thinking, like, do I want to watch this? Like that time, I finished all the shows I was watching. There's one show I'm really into. That show ended right now for this week. I'm like, what can I watch that's not wrestling or basketball highlights or whatever? And I'm like, maybe I'll watch this. And I'm like, but I like Michael Jordan. I didn't like his shoes. Like I'm not a shoe guy. And even if I was like a shoe freak, I don't think I'd care about the business sales side. And also watching a story that glorifies, how much of a businesswoman Mrs. Jordan was.
So
Because that's what the story seems to be in the trailer. She was the one that's like, no, my son is this, and we're gonna do this, and the chances they took on a shoe. And I get it; it's a cool thing we've seen now. But I'm not gonna watch the Blackberry fucking movie. I'm not gonna watch a shoe movie. We're getting wild. We're just like, what's big now that wasn't big? When's the Wheel movie coming out?
I'll be honest. So this isn't the shoe movie I personally would want to see. There is a shoe movie I would absolutely see. But this movie,
Crocs.
no. Actually, so do you know the Jesse Owens story?
I know Jesse Owens.
So Jesse Owens was getting ready to sprint against the Nazis.
Well, it
And
wasn't against the Nazis.
but basically that's what the world was making it
For
out.
people who don't know history,
Sorry.
there
Yes.
wasn't a time in a comic book where Jesse Owens battled the Nazis. That is
No.
not a thing.
Jesse was going to Germany where the Olympics were being held to run in the Olympics. And
Germany was one of the teams in the Olympics.
And the main in that era, they were actually the main sprinters who he was running against. It's
Yes.
actually a very
And a lot of them were in the military, but not all of them were claimed to be Nazis.
No, okay. Very fair points. Now, was their leader Hitler at the time? Yes, but they didn't all
Hitler
have
was
to
not the
register.
coach of the track team.
No, I know. But
I'm helping the people at home.
it is important for the story because Hitler wanted nothing more than to beat the Americans in the sprints.
Yes.
Particularly a black American.
Which, by the way, if you think about it, they wanted the best team. If they just had Nazis stand behind Jews and had them just run, they would have beat Jesse Owens.
The rabbit in a dog race.
If you beat Jesse Owens, you get out of the cage.
Oh, Jesus. But so Hitler was like, yo, hey, I know Adidas brothers or Adidas brothers, you make the best running shoes. Don't give them to Jesse. Now, in the Americans at the same time didn't want the Germans to win and were like, hey, those Nazi shoes, don't wear them. What did the Adidas brothers do?
They weren't called Nazi shoes.
No, this was the sentiment at the time. This is
No, I know.
Because it was like
someone's Googling Nazi shoes right now.
But
our one guy.
All right. So basically risking their life, even though they weren't Nazis and representing a country full of Nazi, at the risk of treason by death penalty, they snuck a pair of shoes to Jesse Owens, who then ignored all the Americans telling him not to wear them and do what was right for his country, not for him, wore their shoes and won. And it's like a true story of people giving up their political ideology to do the right thing.
Does somebody own those shoes?
Like the original pair?
Yeah, I want. Like that must have been an auction. It's
I'm
wild.
pretty sure the sad story is Jesse Owens loved the Nazis. They treated him better in Germany than they did in America because this was like the height of racial tension coming. Obviously, the 70s is when it boiled over, but it was coming to that point. Right. And so he spent most of his life writing about how much better Hitler treated him than his own American citizens.
So I'm just wondering, like, with sports collectors, those shoes.
I believe what the story is he pawned not only his gold medals, but also the infamous shoes.
Shoes, yeah.
So nobody really knows. There are a lot of fake pairs.
There's a guy who's I'm blanking on his name. We talked to him today on the air. He runs like those huge auctions, like the rock and roll auctions, and they do it at they're doing it in New York this weekend at the Hard Rock, and it's a lot of Guns N' Roses stuff this time around. They always change it around, but one of the big items, which is a low price if you really think about it, but it will skyrocket. The original Slash top hat.
Oh, that's big.
And I didn't know the story of this. In 82, 83, walking down Sunset, Slash getting ready to go to a gig, whatever. Doesn't have much money to whatever. He's got his long hair. And he walks by a Fancy Duds high-end, boutique where they show the tuxedo and the cane and a top hat. And he kind of looks at it and goes, that'd be silly if I wore that on stage. And he went in there. It was expensive. He had whatever money he had in his pocket. All he had. And he spent it on a top hat. Put it on. Everyone's like, this is crazy. That looks nuts on you. And it became his iconic thing forever. It's starting at $2,000, which sounds wildly low.
I bet that goes for at least $15K.
I would say at least that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
and then there's also
like
a Kurt Cobain guitar, the one that he kept using that he would break on his own. What?
It's a Kurt Cobain shotgun.
That already went. That's with Jesse Owens' shoes. That was a pair.
Oh, no.
You can imagine that you put those on and someone starts the race with Kurt Cobain's gun. And you put on Jesse Owens' shoes.
Oh, my God.
And the pace car is the car JFK got shot in? Dude, that's a day.
That's a day and a half.
It's a day and a half. Or the Bronco. If you could buy the convertible and the Bronco and race them, dude.
Oh, a demolition derby.
What other cars would you get? If you get the OJ Bronco, JFK convertible,
Paul Walker Porsche.
Yeah.
You'd have to
Is Ryan
rebuild a
Dunn
lot
famous
of it.
enough?
Yeah, I think if you took the parts from each of their crash Porsches, you might be able to rebuild
Build
whole
one
car.
good
Yeah,
Porsche.
yeah. So the Death Porsche, the Princess Diana car.
Yeah. A lot of these cars won't work. Like the Bronco, I believe, still runs. And
The
JFK's car, the car didn't get hurt.
No, the car is good. The Walmart truck, that's perfectly fine from the Tracy Morgan crash.
Yeah, you're not gonna win a race, but that's still cool to have. If we're doing demolition derby, then that's a mean machine to have.
That's gonna be your winner. It's got a tested battle record.
No, wait, do you mean the Paul Walker that he actually died in, or the one he would drive in the movie?
The actual tree.
Okay. Would no be the most badass one to have though?
What's
No matter
that?
all that stuff, no one died in this, but it has a whole different meaning now. If you pull up in the Dukes of Hazzard General Lee, just covered in Confederate flags.
Stars and bars.
The car was a giant Confederate flag.
Oh no, what did those Duke boys get into? They're at a rally in Charleston. They just ran over a protester.
How was that okay at any time? I know we looked at history differently, but like even having your own flag is kind of like, all right, man, maybe we're a little too far. Maybe we are still the United States. I know we're doing a civil thing. This can't be the flag if we win. This flag is wild. And they're like, guess what? There'll be a TV show sometime. There'll be a fat man that we call Hog. There'll be a lady that's so hot that her name will become Pants. And we'll have a car that's a racist flag. That's our show. How iconic is that show?
I love
we
it.
know the pants more than a racist flag car.
Hood sliding. Like if you see somebody slide across the hood of a car, you go,
Oh, you've been. I thought because of the Klan. Hood sliding. That does sound like a dance that can work both in Compton and down south.
oh no, the Duke brothers, what are they up to now? They just committed a hate crime in the ghetto. How are they going to get out of this one?
Lord. Okay. Oh, look, it's us.
Real quick. So, did you see?
I just hit my phone. It went right to Facebook. I just see us. I'm like, that's fucking weird. Okay. It just says awesome. And no one.
Did you see the story? There's a woman in a wheelchair who is hiring a male escort in England to lose her V card.
How old is she?
She's in her 40s, I believe.
Okay, that's not around that then.
There is something.
Why is
wrong
it
with
announced?
It was a news story
No, but
because she like put it out to the public, like, hey.
is it? Oh, in England is prostitution legal?
I don't know. I don't know the rules there, but you know what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be weird to announce you're getting a hooker.
I think it wasn't. She wasn't announcing she was getting the hooker. She was launching a quest to find one willing to complete the deed.
Isn't that weird that you can do that? Like, remember back in the day, like, women would be like getting billboards in Times Square, like, I want to lose my virginity. Who has the most money? And you're like, is this okay? Can you sell that?
Wow. I didn't know you could, but I guess good for them.
You didn't know about that back in the day? Like Howard Stern would talk about it, like it was about those times, like when he was the most famous and stuff. But like women were putting out things in billboards and like, this one lady got it up to like $1 million in bidding for her virginity.
Oh, I do remember that. I guess
It
that's
was like a hot lady. It was more like a publicity stunt, but still.
More importantly, here's what bothers me: the bitch is just ripping off Jim Jeffries' season 1, episode 1 of Legit. This has been done.
Right. Well, Jim Jeffries actually ripped off an actual real experience with him and his friend.
That's my point. It's Jim Jeffries' life story. Like, how can you steal that?
They weren't British.
They're Australian.
Yeah, I know. It's
close
classy.
enough.
It's classy. And also, it's a woman.
Yeah, there's got to be some loser.
To me, a woman's going to get this done. I've said this before, but like, whenever I see a homeless woman, I just go, she's got standards.
Yeah.
Because any guys are such creeps and, I just want to get laid or do whatever, that they will go with the worst person ever and sleep with anyone just to not be alone and do that. A woman will be like, you know what? I'll wait because right now it's all around me is creeps, whatever. I'd rather be outside than be with the things that are talking to me right now. You know what I mean? So I don't need to do that. So in the same regard, a guy is like, I'm in a wheelchair. I'll just get a hooker. I don't care. But a woman doesn't even need to do that. She could just say, I'm in a wheelchair, but I also am a person. I just want to find someone who can connect with me. And there is a guy out there who's going to go, I'll buy that horse shit because I am alone and I don't mind pushing chairs. It's good for my back.
I guess that would be the ultimate Cinderella-ing, right? Help me.
Yeah, because the shoes, you can make the shoes fit no matter what.
Exactly. And on that note, guys, May 24th, Crip Daddy is having his album recording at Stand Up New York. Please buy your tickets. If we don't sell enough before the show, he's coming to New York for no reason. So please.
What day is that?
May 24th. It is a Wednesday. Pat, if you want to come down, I'm sure we could give you some time.
I was gonna say if he needs an opener, maybe
we'll figure it out. I will let you know in the chat.
It'd be cool to do time. I've never met him, but I've seen his work. I think I'm a fan. So.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I push for this, so please get your tickets now. And Pat, what do you got else? Your album, Stay Dry, available anywhere you can buy or stream music, so go do that. And the other thing, I really wish you mentioned this when the album first came out, and I was hoping it would take off a little more than it has. But go on to your Instagram Reels and make a reel using some of Pat's audio. There are very fun tracks to make fun syncs up with. You'll have a blast. Enjoy the album and get it now. And come out to the Appel Center in York Friday. Pat, what do you got to plug?
Even if you don't want to make a TikTok reel, things of that nature, what you can help this show out is you can share a screenshot of this show and we put it up. But then you can go on there on Instagram stories, whatever, and pull a clip from, say, Brighton Stay Dry, Pat Oates, and then pull me saying something as the picture's there. And it can be a way to do the album and the thing. But by the way, speaking of the album, I'm still getting people messaging me all the time like, dude, I just checked it out. It's hilarious. Thank you, everyone that's been checking it out. It keeps jumping on more platforms. It's not everywhere yet. Believe me. It's funny how it can be almost everywhere. And then the people that listen to the one thing it's not on are the ones who talk to me. They're like, why isn't it on Pandora yet? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why it's not on Pandora. I don't know anything about my album.
That makes two of us.
Right. So
it's supposed to be on Pandora.
Yeah. People are like, I can't make a Pat Oates channel. I'm like, Pandora's dumb anyway. If you made a Pat Oates channel, it would never play me. It would just suggest other things like Pat Oates. And according to most things, like Spotify, there's a comedian named Sean Kent that I guess I'm a lot like, because every time someone makes a Pat Oates channel, Sean Kent's on there too.
So Sean Kent, you are welcome.
By the way, Sean Kent used to open for Doug Stanhope when he did like the Unbookables tours, and he's very filthy but very funny. But I'm like, okay, I didn't realize that's me. I thought it was gonna be me and Pete Holmes. No, I'm kidding. But yes, thank you for listening to all that stuff. Keep listening to me when I'm on Jazz and AJ. I appreciate it. Even on the people listening that weren't fans of there who are getting the WPLR app and streaming when I'm on Sundays. Thanks, guys. It's really cool that you're just listening even when I'm just talking between music and shit like that. It's really awesome. Get on over on the Patreon, please. We'd like more people to be on there as well. Head on over to the Patreon, and it's a POS Podcast Patreon over there. Bobby and I are working on making the show look better. The intro we have now, we have ideas for other things coming up too. You're going to keep seeing changes, but a lot of the things we do will be going right over to the Patreon first. We'll be going public with other things too, but a lot of it, I think going forward, we'll be putting it live, then putting it away on the Patreon. So if you're not watching it live, you might see it there sometime, trying to put out things. So join over there and have the fun. You can give as little as $3. It does help support the show. I can grow my beard back. That would help out a lot. Someone said I look like Make-A-Wish Louis C.K., which I think is a wonderful thing to say. It's better than being half Asian Louis C.K. from a week ago. And by the way, all the people who said to me, hey, your appearance on Rap wasn't as bad as you said it was. And if you read the comments, my daughter even did this. She goes, Dad, I heard you say that. So I read the comments and I watched it. The 3 comments you mentioned are basically the 3 comments about you. And boy, do those people not like Mike Cannon. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah. And then he's a great guy. He was very funny. So like, you know what? Screw those people. Whatever. He was great on that episode. But besides that, yeah, I've got a bunch of shows coming up. And real quickly, before we go here, I want to say a special thanks. I hosted the first round of the first rounds of Last Comic Standing on Sunday at Comics When It Gets Done, a contest that I won years ago. I was reminded that was 8 years ago. That's how old I feel when I won it. But there was 15 comedians in this contest. Usually there's 12 in the first round. 15 comedians were in it, each doing 5 minutes on Mother's Day with an audience of only about 50 or so people and a lot of older women. So I'm like, they're probably not in a good mood because they don't look like they have kids with them. Their kids probably didn't make it. And this is probably not a good day for them. They're here to get a laugh. So they say to me, you really can't do much time as the host. You know what I mean? We're paying you still, but a couple minutes up front, just don't be too long. And I said, I understand. That's fine, whatever. And then as they said that, another manager walked over and said, hey, someone asked the hostess if you could do this, hands me a sticky note. And the sticky note said, please say happy anniversary to Jim and Cindy. Brian Brown was standing there. Manager Dan was standing there. They're like, are you going to do it? I go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in between every comic. Dude, it's coming out soon. The guy, sound guy, Alexander, shout out to him. After I was done doing this, I wrote a different Jim and Cindy joke in between every comic and did it. He's going to make me the montage. It'll be about 5 minutes long of just me beating people up with Jim and Cindy jokes. We'll get it over on the Patreon when it comes out.
Hell yeah.
Two of the comics turned to me in the green room and go, this is the greatest thing. Fuck this contest. The crowd sucks. The Jim and Cindy thing is amazing what you're doing. And one comic actually changed his set and goes, well, they're not reacting to anything else. So he added 2 minutes of Jim and Cindy material and he moved on. So smart move, James Firth. Way to read the room. Good job by you. He's a funny guy anyway. But thank you to the people that came out to that. If you want to see him performing next, just hit me up on social media. I'll tell you. So, Bobby.
Pat, thanks. Bobby, thanks. And if you can't beat him, if you can't join him, beat him. And don't